And welcome back from John L. Guidry Stadium. And of course, this is the home of the Nicholls State Colonels. Later on in the program, we're going to talk to Coach Charlie Stubbs, who's doing a fantastic job of trying to get the Colonels back into prominence. He had a promising first year. He had a lot of freshmen. And one thing Al McGuire used to say, the famous sportscaster, best thing about a freshman, they become a sophomore. So the coach ought to have a little experience under the belt this year with his players. We're going to catch up with him in a little while to talk football with Coach Charlie Stubbs. But some other action, we ran into some other people here at John L. Guidry. Let's listen into a few of the interviews as we saw it here in Thibodaux. All right, one of the favorite sons, Tommy Hodson, here at the Manning camp, and pretty good group here this year. Gruden, Andrew Luck to go along with it. What have you learned by being out here that it gets bigger every year, right?
It does get bigger every year, and it's like a who's who. Yesterday when everybody was introducing themselves, I was like, wow, if you are somebody in football, you're here this weekend. So I feel honored to kind of be in the backgrounds here, but definitely some big names.
Gruden talked about Andrew Luck, and I know you've been there, and you've been where Luck is, where the media is starting to focus on you. Starting to get a lot of pressure. You're sort of morphing into somebody that maybe you're not quite or don't know how to handle yet. What kind of advice would you give him in that key year that he's going to be going through?
Well, Andrew Luck, he seems like a pretty, low-key guy. Pretty probably sure of where he's going, his future. It looks like, just talking to him, that he's got his feet on the ground. He knows what's going on, and he knows the pitfalls and stuff. He's got a dad that's been through it. That's played football. I wouldn't worry too much about him. I think he's going to do just fine.
How's the game change? Now you're out there working with some of the young kids. When you played, the game's changed a little bit. It's progressed, but what's the biggest change?
Biggest change, I was watching the guys at LSU just throw 7 on 7 the other day. Everybody really can run. The game is much faster. They use more of the field. When I played, when you had 7 on 7, the free safety was 10 yards deep. The corners didn't back off very much. Now, at the snap of the ball, the free safety's flying back to 25, 30 yards. The corners are playing back. They play a lot more man-to-man. They played a lot better than they used to 20 years ago. So everybody's just getting more aggressive. They're backing off more. The offense is using more of the field, but the defenders are getting better. They can have closer coverage, tighter coverage. It's just a faster game.
When you get out there in that heat and you start throwing again and working with the kids, do those memories start coming back for you?
Well, it's getting to be such a long time ago. I'm starting to forget a lot of stuff, but I enjoy it. I still work with a lot of kids in Baton Rouge, so I'm used to the heat, and I'm used to getting out there, and I like to still throw with them and catch with them and all that stuff. I still think I can throw, but I probably can't. Not nearly as well as I used to, but I enjoy it. It does bring back a lot of memories.
What about the Mannings? I've never seen really a family that does so much with so much persona, and they don't have to do it. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I guess it's a credit to Archie and his family and his wife, and they raised three good boys, and they do give a lot back to whatever community they're in. And you think about it, they're in a bunch of different communities, and they're doing a lot for Louisiana. Eli's big in Mississippi, Peyton's big in Tennessee, in Indiana with Peyton, and in New York too. So they stay busy year-round. It's their calendar's pretty packed with stuff, and they certainly are charitable people and do a lot for the communities that they're in.
Thank you.
Your brother is going through the recruiting process like you went through a few years back. Give us a little scouting report on Ricky.
He's about 6 foot, 6'1", maybe 175, 180. He went to the LSU camp a few weeks back. I think he ran a 4.3 or a low 4.4. He plays receiver in DB. So, he was telling me the other day he's listed as the #1 receiver in his recruiting class. I think in the state of Louisiana, so I think he's working on to become the #1 in the country. So I think he's going back to the LSU camp maybe next week, and he's going to go against some of the top guys, and you know he's only going to be a junior, so I think he's
trying to put maybe a little influence.
Yeah,
on where he goes. Or you gonna let him make that decision?
I'm gonna let him make it, but you know he has a point of view right now of how LSU is. You know, since I've been there for the past 3 years, so he's kind of on the purple and gold side, but at the same time, it's also his decision at the end. But I think he's going to do great by the time he leaves. I expect for him to be a #1 guy by the time he leaves.
Have you had a chance to talk to Coach Gruden yet?
I talked to him a little bit yesterday after our throwing segment. Great guy, gave me some pointers and some great comments on how I was doing in the throwing segment.
What's the one thing he told you that you could take into this season and maybe improve your game? What's the one thing that he told you that stuck with you?
He said my footwork was good, but I really, just really emphasize on that. Make sure that my footwork is always to the point to where I'm the most successful. Becoming more accurate, is how your footwork needs to be to become more accurate.
All right, there you saw it. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back with more, including we're going to have head coach Charlie Stubbs from Nicholls State University. It's all coming up next on our coverage of the Manning Passing Academy from Nicholls State University. We'll be right back.